The day that he was born should have been one of the happiest days of our lives.
We had a nurse that came and she said, "Mr. Akins, I need to speak with you."
And looked at us and told us, "Your son," talking to Troy, "is in renal failure and he will have to have a kidney transplant."
They said that he would need to be transported to the local children's hospital, and they sent a team of people to come in and get him and put him in this little incubator, and they took him, and he was gone. And we all just cried.
What should have been a happy day for the Akins family turned into a nightmare when their newborn son Colt was diagnosed with kidney failure. He was born with an incurable condition that even with dialysis would only give him about 10 years to live. This is the story of how the friends and partners of Andrew Wommack Ministries helped one family from North Carolina apply the truth of God's Word when their newest member's life was on the line. This is the healing journey of Colt Akins.
I followed the ambulance, and at that point, I met with the nephrologist who did show me that he found the kidneys, and they were long, skinny, no shape. And my biggest thing at that point was, is he going to live?
Fear was starting to press in, and it was like, what is going to happen? Like, what does this mean? The doctors explained to us, exactly what was going on, and said that he would need to go into surgery the very next day to be prepped for dialysis.
I was wondering, is that really my baby brother with 12 tubes in him and IV in his head?
Finally, it was time for him to come home, and we brought him home, and it was great having him home, but it was as if a whole different nightmare had begun.
Everything pretty much evolved around learning how to do dialysis, him trying to be able to keep food in that we tube feed him.
Our whole world sort of halted, and we weren't able to do much stuff after Colt was born.
I remember one night, me and Lauren, my sister, stayed up all night long, and he was just throwing up constantly, and all I could hear was my mom crying and yelling, and Colt just screaming in pain.
We were driving to school, and he goes, "Mommy, I've got to throw up." And so we turn into a church parking lot, and he just starts vomiting everywhere. And I got out of the car because it stunk really bad. The verse came to me, "The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy." And I was like, you know what? The devil's doing this.
I would always ask the nephrologist when I'd come in, is there 1% chance that his kidney's going to recover? And they'd say, it can't happen.
We had dialysis fluid bags, and there were tubes that had to be set up every day, and drain bags that had to be set up every day. We were tied to that machine. I could see that it was taking a toll on our family, but at the time, we had no choice. We just were in survival mode.
Having done dialysis with no improvement, the Akins were at the end of their rope and in desperate need of a miracle. Their prayer was answered when a friend from church recommended that they check out the story of a family who was once in a similar situation.
So we went home that afternoon, and we watched the healing testimony of little Hannah Teradez. I was really encouraged by it. So we started watching Andrew as often as possible. The first one we listened to was God Wants You Well, and it just made a lot of sense. And it put things into perspective for me about what God's will is.
But I'm telling you, God wants you to be well. He died for your healing. By His stripes you were healed, just the same as you were forgiven of sins. If you would begin...
One morning I woke up, and me and my sister came out on the couch, and I turned on Andrew Wommack. It was like he was saying to me, it's not God's will for your baby brother to be like this. I started saying, he is healed. He's healed in Jesus' name.
As I started studying the Bible more and testing some of the things that I was learning in Andrew's teachings, the Bible just came alive to me. There were verses that I just couldn't let go of. Things like, if you speak to the mountain, that it will move. And if you lay hands on the sick, that they shall recover.
Jesus said, whosoever will say unto this mountain, be thou removed, be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith will come to pass, he will have whatsoever he saith. Most people are saying what they have instead of having what they say.
God just began to show me, step by step, where to go with Colt and what to do. But he would show me things like, well, if you don't want to be double-minded, then be single-minded. And I thought, okay, single-mindedly focused on the Word of God. And that meant that I did need to do some things like turn off the TV and get off of social media and, block out some negativity that just didn't do anything but feed my doubts, and it just fed my fear. There was a night that Troy and I had gone to bed, and the kids were asleep, and Troy said to me, something's got to give. We cannot keep doing this. We can't keep doing dialysis with him.
I went running down the hall. Gloria's behind me. I lay hands on Colt. And when I lay hands on him, I'm yelling and screaming, whatever is bad, get out. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, you are healed. It could have woke up the neighbors.
After that time frame, he just got better all of a sudden. He started getting better.
I started asking Gloria every 2 weeks, what's his numbers like? And she asked me, Troy, do you know something? I said, oh yeah, he's definitely healed.
After spending 3 years saturating their lives with Andrew's teachings on God wants you well, and you've already got it, the Akins family reached a turning point, and Gloria knew it was time to ask the doctors to begin gradually taking Colt off dialysis.
They said, yes, you can take him off one night a month, and we celebrated. And I had heard enough of Andrew's teachings to know that you should magnify the good and minimize the bad. And I thought, okay, we're going to magnify this one night.
At that point, we got to celebrate, live, go out, do things that were normal for us in the past.
So we did 2 nights a month, I think for only about 1 month. We were ready to move forward. And so after that 1 month, his labs looked amazing and they looked fantastic. And so I said, can we do 1 night a week? And the doctors agreed that that would be okay. And so we did 1 night a week. So I said to the nurse, can we do 2 nights a week? 1 night a week had been going well, so why not 2? And she said, no, we can't do that. And I said, well, why not? And she said, well, at this point, we have to discuss whether or not he even needs dialysis. And I got off the phone and I told the kids, I'm like, he's done. We're done. We're having surgery. His tubes are coming out and he's done. We don't have to do this anymore. And I think they were crying and I was crying and Colt didn't know what was going on.
Our life completely changed. We could actually take trips, take a week trip, take an overnight trip without any kind of interference whatsoever. We got our family back.
He's eating. He loves macaroni and cheese. It is his favorite thing to eat. He's been able to get in a swimming pool, which he couldn't do before, and be in the water and learn to enjoy that. He's been able to just interact and play outside and be with brothers and sisters and friends and do things that he was not always free to do before.
Colt's story is just one example of the many lives healed, changed, and transformed through the free teachings from Andrew Wommack Ministries. To our friends and partners, we say thank you. Because of your support, one family from North Carolina experienced the goodness of God in the midst of their hopeless situation.
What I really learned from Andrew was the simplicity of healing, that it wasn't difficult. The results came from speaking to the illness, demanding it to leave in Jesus' name.
I love what Andrew says. He says, if you can move the devil an inch, you can move him a mile, 1 inch at a time. And that's what we did. We moved him a mile. It was only 1 inch at a time, but that's all right. We got there.